Hey everybody! In today's video, I'm going to show you some tips for using layering stencils with the help of the MISTI for your gel press prints. These are the layering stencils I'll be using today. This is the layered kaleidoscope set from Altenew. It comes with 2 separate stencils, and I have my 5x7 gel press set up in the MISTI. And the MISTI helps me do everything I'm going to do today. I put it in the base so that I could use the grid for alignment. And I'm setting the stencil up and putting Post-it notes on the rulers to remind me where my stencil and where my cardstock is going to be positioned. And this just makes it easier to use those layering stencils. What's fun about gel press is you can let go of all your perfectionist urges, but this will still let you use kind of a perfect product in an accurate way in the gel press. So I'm going to adjust that sort of to where I see the center of that kaleidoscope design, and then put the Post-it note there, which happens to be at about 5 1/4. Now I'm using these fun splash inks. They're called Niji Splash Inks. They are made in the USA by a company called Yasutomo, and I've been wanting to use these with the gel press for a long time. They give you the properties of acrylic, meaning they spread across the plate and stay there, which is nice, but they're also very thin, and so you get some transparency. They do have an acrylic base, but they act more like ink, so that's really fun. So now the stencil is set up, and I'm using the Post-it notes to align the cardstock and just a piece of well-loved MISTI grid paper to help me rub into that stencil and pick up the design. Now, you don't want to do what I did here, because as I take this print off, I flip it. So write yourself a little top and bottom on the back of your cardstock so that you know where to put the cardstock for that second layer. Now I do it correctly on this second one, and so you'll see the difference in the 2 prints. They're both still beautiful, but one of them is actually the way the stencil works, and the other one is off just a tiny bit. This is a symmetrical design, so it's not going to be off terribly either way. But the ghost print is interesting because you get those ridges that make it look really, really 3-dimensional on that second print. You're getting the inside of those lines instead of the outside of the lines. Now I have 3 colors of splash ink here today. I have the blue, a magenta, and a yellow, the Holy Trinity. And you just want to make sure you clean the ink off your brayer. I just use Purell and a hand sanitizer to clean both the plate and the brayer. Now I have the second stencil, and I'm going to use the Magenta Ink. And you can see how little you need because of the ink-like property of this fun fluid acrylic. You just need a couple of drops, otherwise it'll kind of pool on you. But you can see still the grid lines through the ink, and so you can see the transparency that I'm talking about, which makes for a super fun medium. So now I take the second stencil, and as I said, it's symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way the stencil is oriented, just that I sort of have it lined up where I had the other one lined up. So we'll do the first print, and you can tell that I'm not sure which orientation I had this in, but it all has a happy ending, I promise. So I like to get my fingers down into that stencil and make sure I picked everything up. The paper helps. And then I can pull that one off, and you can see what the bold version of the open areas of the stencil look like. And that is super fun. And now we'll do the ghost print. Love that 3D. And see, I kept the cardstock in the correct orientation here. Lining it up with the grid. And look, you can see how easy it is to use that grid as an alignment tool if you have your gel press set up in the base of the MISTI. A lot of times I do it on the lid, but I just love that. That is so much fun. So here are the finished samples. I also included one that I had done earlier using the blue ink. So I hope you'll give this a try soon. Thanks so much for watching.